I have to
Yeah,
say, I
that's
started out taking notes about things that I was like, this is insane. What is going on here? Like the
you gave
parents
up.
leaving a 1-month-old kid alone for a weekend in the beginning. And they were like, we'll be back on Sunday. And the kid's like a month old.
Deuces.
Yeah. See ya. Peace out. Hey peeps, this is the Scary Movie Project, the podcast where we talk about scary movies, share our perspectives as filmmakers, and steal babies with our spoilery spoilers. I'm Tara.
I'm Matt. Steal babies.
That was a
young
horrible joke, but whatever.
Well, you know. So I don't know if you knew this, but I thought I might let you know that a young couple with a newborn baby don't realize that the nanny they hired is a magical nymph.
Ooh.
That's right. A nymph. Let me say that one more time. A magical nymph who sacrifices infants to an evil tree. If you think that description is a bit silly, it's probably because it is. This is a silly movie. 1990 film The Guardian. I want to just full disclosure, I take full responsibility for us watching this.
Yes, you do.
I know, you've held it over my head for quite some time. So I saw part of this movie when I was a kid, right? And it was on TV, and I was like 10, 11, 12, whatever years old. I didn't know. I thought it was scary. I saw the picture, like the movie poster, like the figure in the darkness, and I never saw it again. And then I remember it one day, like, I want to watch that movie, The Guardian. Then I found out William Friedkin, who directed The Exorcist, made this movie. So I thought, okay, it has to be okay, right? Then I found out it was really not good, and it was supposed to be really terrible, and I made us watch it. And it was not good.
Okay, so get this.
It's not good.
This was William Friedkin's first horror movie in 17 years. His first one since The Exorcist.
Which he claims isn't a horror movie, but that's for another conversation.
I think he was out of practice.
I don't know what happened. This is to me one of these situations where, okay, there's like moments I like in this movie. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not good. There were moments that I liked.
No,
there were moments that I liked.
I don't know if there were
like
moments that I liked, but there were visual things that I thought were cool.
Yeah, there was stuff that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't. I have definitely seen worse things. Okay, here we go. It's not a situation like The Room. Okay, The Room is like regarded as like the worst movie ever made, but it's so bad it's awesome. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is not so bad it's awesome.
Not, right? No, it's not.
It's not. So it's so bad it's bad.
It's a director. I'm wondering what happened because Friedkin is a good director.
You know, okay, so this is the other thing.
This sounds like did he just get like a it was just a perfect storm of like a terrible crew, a terrible cast, like yeah, what happened?
Well, it was supposed to be directed by Sam Raimi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he left the project to direct Darkman. And so they brought in William Friedkin,
saw Darkman.
And there were a bunch of rewrites, and the co-writer like had a breakdown, so Friedkin took over the writing of it. So
that's it right there. So it was a disaster from day one. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like it was just never anything but a mess.
I want to think did he distance himself from this, by the way?
I love this. So okay, so two things. So first there's a cable TV version of the film that is not credited to William Friedkin. It's credited to Alan Smithy, which is the name that directors use when they don't want to be associated with shit.
Yeah,
when they're like,
definitely some Alan Smithies out there. Okay, so that answers the question of if he was wanted to be known for this. All right.
There's more.
Oh wait, there's more.
But there's more. This is one of only 2 films that Friedkin made that he wrote nothing about in his memoir. Nothing.
Okay.
He just didn't even mention them.
All right.
I don't know what the other one is, but now I'm curious.
All right. Well, I mean, okay, that answers everything I needed to know, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Okay. Idea. Interest. Okay.
Okay.
Did you ever see The Hand That Rocks the Cradle?
Yes, and and I have trivia about that too.
All right. That I think, I don't want to say great, but I really like that movie.
That was a creepy ass movie.
Yeah, Rebecca De Mornay is like awesome in it. I like that movie. This kind of feels like a ripoff in a way, right? I think Hand That Rocks the Cradle was later in the early 90s.
So,
this was first, so it couldn't be a ripoff, I guess. But you know, it wants to be cool. I want to like the idea, but it's also silly. Like the worshiping trees stuff, that's not real. Like, what are they talking about?
So Jenny Seagrove, who stars in it, right? She wanted them to make, she said, this is a quote, she said to The Guardian in 2007, it was about this druid nanny who became a tree, and I begged Universal to make it about a real nanny who kidnaps babies. No, we can't do that, they said. The 30-somethings in America won't come and see the film.
Oh, no.
I
right,
said, I think you're completely wrong. This film is total fantasy, and it's just awful. 2 years later, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle was released, so I rang up my friend at Universal, and he said, don't even talk about it. You were right.
Wow.
So she wanted them to make it more realistic and make Hand That Rocks the Cradle, basically, and they were like, no, it won't sell. It won't do well in the box office.
So did you say Hand That Rocks the Cradle was 92 then?
Mm-hmm.
Was that what you said? Okay, so that happened long after production on this had wrapped, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that movie's good. That movie's really good. This is not.
This is
so good,
not.
but...
Starting with. So they have the little thing about like the druids, right? The little like text in the beginning. Which first of all, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're gonna blame it on the druids. Thanks, guys. Good job.
Blame it on the druids.
Second, if you're talking about druids, why is the score playing like Hungarian sounding music? This has nothing to do with each other. I was like, what is going on here? The dissonance. It makes no sense. I have to say, I started out taking notes about things that I was like, this is insane. What is going on here? Like the parents leaving a 1-month-old kid alone for a weekend in the beginning. And they were like, we'll be back on Sunday. And the kid's like a month old.
Deuces.
Yeah. See ya. Peace out.
I can't speak for every parent, but I mean,
and I'm like, what is this? But I stopped. I gave up after a while. I was like, I can't even write every stupid thing in this movie because I would just be writing the whole thing.
It's too bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I wish it had been more entertaining. I was hoping, because like I said, I hadn't seen it in so long. I was hoping for this really exciting film that maybe it was a cult classic. Maybe people didn't give it a chance. Like, no, it's just not good.
It just wasn't good.
I mean, there's some parts that I like. You know, there's I like the wolves. I like when the guy comes home.
The wolves are cool.
The one dude that comes back to his house.
Oh, and his house is awesome.
Yeah, after chasing her through the woods, and he comes back and he's
all the glass walls and the wolves after him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
he's like
cool.
all bloody, and that's a good scene because like he's all bloody and like it doesn't look cheesy. Like he looks like he got busted up for real. And the phone is all gross and bloody, and then he goes in the basement, and
But he as a character, like, doesn't really, I don't know, he doesn't make sense for a horror movie. Like, he's just this nice guy who kind of likes her.
Right.
And, like, he's not the guy who gets seduced, because she doesn't really seduce anybody. He's not the guy who's, like, kind of a jerk and goes after her and presses his attentions on her so he gets his comeuppance. He's not that guy. He's just some like random kind of nice dude who likes her, and then he gets killed. And like, but it like there's no driving anything to it. It's just like, oh, he's a nice guy and he kind of thinks she's cute, and then he gets killed.
Yeah, that's kind of the end of that. And then he leaves the message on the guy's machine.
Yeah.
One of the more random moments is the random guys at the park that show up.
What is with those guys?
I don't really know what
they're
that
just
was
criminals
about.
for again, they're just criminals for no reason. Like, why are they there?
I don't know what that's about either. I know.
They even say, they're like, dude, have you ever been here? No, I've never been here. It's like, well, then why are you here now? What are you doing in the middle of the woods for no reason?
And this chase scene that goes on for way too long.
Oh my God.
Just constant. Like, come on, dude, just get to the point.
Oh
and then the special effects, like, okay.
The guy's head gets chopped off by the tree, but it's already off when the tree gets there.
Yes! Did you see this? Yes. Like, okay, I don't get it. That's like an editing error. Like, okay, you already
editing
shot
error
that.
In my favor.
So you have, okay, that was shot separate, right? Oh, I mean, everything's always shot separate, whatever. I didn't say that right. But clearly, you have the scene where his head, like, why would you insert that point after? Unless, did you lose the footage? Was the camera, again,
but all they needed to do was start that shot, like, a few frames later.
Here's the question I have. Clearly, we had a lot of problems on this production. Did you have a cam op who forgot to hit record ahead of time, and you only have a certain amount of footage? Maybe that's what happened.
I have no idea. It doesn't make sense. Like,
it's a. I mean, look, when you have a production plagued like this with issues, that's very possible.
That's true.
Because that made me laugh. I was like, yo, I mean, really you put that in your final cut of your movie?
Yeah,
Yikes.
I just so much of this movie, I'm like, I don't. Oh, well, apparently, okay, here's another bit of trivia. Apparently, the initial tree didn't work. The mechanics didn't work. So they had to construct a new tree that held 500 gallons of fake blood and had detachable bark.
I like that.
So that's kind of cool. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe the tree malfunctioned and they couldn't redo it right then.
Hey, the shark in Jaws didn't ever work, and that managed to be a blockbuster, so I don't want to hear that.
This is true. Good point.
You know what that reminded me of?
I will say, though, speaking of the tree... Oh, I was to say.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of the tree, I do like when she's, like, healing herself and she, like, melds into it. I thought that looked really cool.
Yes.
And she, like, grows the bark on herself. Like, I thought that looked cool. There were some things in this movie that were like, it looks neat. But the whole movie itself... It's barely a movie. It doesn't make sense. It's like a collection of images and lines.
Yeah. Which doesn't, contrary to popular belief, make a movie.
No. You would think that it might, but it doesn't. That does not a movie make.
No, it does not. The tree reminds me of the tree in Sleepy Hollow. The tree of the dead.
Okay.
You know, when they cut it up and it bleeds and there's, the horseman comes out of it and all the dead bodies are in it. That's kind of what it reminded me of in a way.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I
cooler,
like the chainsaw.
The chainsaw.
Much cooler.
The chainsaw. Okay, let's talk about the chainsaw.
All right, let's do that.
The chainsaw that you only hear when you're seeing it in a close-up. And when it's out of the shot, but literally just out of the shot, the sound of it doesn't exist.
Hey, it's not in the frame. It doesn't exist.
What is that? It literally would go and then just stop when they cut away from it, and then go when they come back to it. It's like, is it only running intermittently? What is happening here?
That's right. This is not.
You guys, I had to drink to talk about this film. Okay, I'm drinking myself a little dark and stormy here because I needed some alcohol to talk about this movie. That's how bad it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I drink sometimes when we record anyways, but this time I needed it.
You needed it. It was definitely not Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
Certainly not.
No.
But I mean, any movie that has a chainsaw, I'm a fan of. But yes, it's not great. I mean, like I said, there's a couple. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was going to go on something different.
I was really just going to say, trying to find redeeming quality. There's a couple, cool scenes in it, things. Oh, I like at the end, is that what you were talking about, when she's all busted up and she's climbing up the stairs after the baby?
Yeah. And then she, lays down in the tree and it, she melds into it. Yeah, that was cool looking.
Yeah. When the husband's cutting the tree up with a chainsaw and he's basically killing her and she's getting all those scars on her arm and stuff.
And her leg, her leg just falls off.
Yes.
That was
and there are some
laughable though.
Right. There are some cool shots sometimes. I mean, it is not a total mess. Well, maybe it is, but there's just some parts to like about it. What was I going to say about it? And there's really no one in it. There's nobody.
Not really.
Oh, Miguel Ferrer, he's in it.
Oh,
right?
he's
yeah. He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that. And also,
but he wasn't a very big. Oh my God, that baby. Okay,
does the baby wear clothes?
That baby has a little Gilbert Godfrey face.
I was just curious as to why they don't put clothes on that damn baby.
I don't know. I just know it looks like a little baby Gilbert Godfrey.
Didn't he just die recently too?
I believe he did, sadly. But this baby has his face.
Oh my God, Gilbert Godfrey and Problem Child. Oh, Problem Child is such a great movie. Yeah, the baby, put some clothes on that baby. Does it just wear a diaper constantly? Put the clothes on the damn baby. I don't understand.
Okay, well, speaking of the baby, when they had the scene of the baby being delivered, that was real footage of a live birth.
No kidding. Yep. Hey, there you go. Okay, that's something interesting.
That was an actual live birth right there.
Okay. Wonder how long it took to shoot this movie.
Now to go. Okay.
And I wonder if it was a mess on set, like while they were
Oh, it has
in
to have
production,
been.
I wonder
If the lead was like, we should change this thing, the whole script sucks, then it was probably a mess on set.
You never know, man. Sometimes people think they're making like something amazing, and then you watch and you're like, nope. Sorry, dude.
Okay, so I want to
Oh,
I want to back up from babies a little bit and talk about the weird ass sex scene.
Oh, when he finds that she's got the mark on her?
When he thinks his wife is coming on to him in the middle of the night, and then it turns out to be her, but it's not sexy, and it's not filmed in a way that like makes any sense for what's happening.
Like, yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Like it physically doesn't quite make sense, and then it's not sexy and she's not seductive again. Like,
no, they tried.
Why did they even put the sex scene in there if she wasn't going to be like seductive and he wasn't going to be like kind of charmed by her? You know, it makes no sense.
They may have had every intention, and it just obviously blew up in there. It just didn't work. I don't know.
Maybe it just didn't come through. I don't know, but
yeah, maybe they tried and it just wasn't going to happen.
Of course, I think that could also be part of the issue where they had all these like for like half the movie, right? Nothing actually truly scary happens, but they film things like it's scary.
Yes, it's dark and it's windy or something.
Yeah, like so they film things like there's about to be a jump scare, but there isn't. Nothing happens. Like
right, nothing happens.
It's a very weird
all
movie.
BS.
It's such an odd movie.
I don't think so where do they live? LA, is that right?
Yes, somewhere in I think so. Somewhere in California.
Southern California, yeah. Interesting house they live in. I thought that was, because they came from what, Chicago, they said, or something.
Yeah, they had just moved there, like a few months before, I guess. That's the other thing. Like the beginning when they were like setting things up, like they moved there before she has the baby, and then she has the baby, and then they get the nanny. But like the way they like cut those scenes as that's happening didn't give you an impression of time passing.
No, it didn't. That's a good point.
So,
they were sitting there by the fireplace one night, and then they have a baby.
Yeah,
like a second
time
later,
is passing, and you know it because now there's a baby and she's not pregnant anymore. But like the scenes, the cuts and the editing don't support that.
Right.
Like
it's a passage of time that happens literally in a heartbeat, and it's not. It's not enough. It's not done right. I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we can't be really surprised by that because we kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Well.
So, then there was the little kid in the beginning who like reads the story to his little sister.
I kind of like that part.
I liked that part. I just I'm not sure.
The pop-up book, right?
Yeah, the pop-up book was cool.
Hansel and Gretel he's reading, right?
Yes, it's a Hansel and Gretel like pop-up book.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure why they chose a kid who had like kind of a lisp. Like he didn't speak very well. And he said so much. But he didn't speak very well.
Again, maybe not the kid they wanted originally. Who knows?
Well, it wasn't. The kid they wanted originally got the flu. And he was 8 years old, and he apparently begged Friedkin to just shoot his scenes near the end of production so he could get better, but they couldn't like afford to change the whole schedule, so they hired someone else. And then the kid's name is Paul Rawson, who was going to play it. He said no, he was actually really grateful that he had the flu when he did and couldn't do it.
I was going to say he missed out on his chance of stardom, or not,
or not.
Because again.
Because Roger Ebert named it one of his most hated films of all time. So,
oh my goodness, of all time! Wow,
of all time.
Ooh, hey, can I pick them or what?
You can pick them. Never again will you pick them. No, just kidding. What, you get to pick them. Never again
will you pick them.
You still get to pick.
You know what? Sometimes you have a swing and a miss.
Every once in a while. This was not the best one we've watched.
You know what though? I like that. I think from time to time we need to watch something that we just
sucks.
Agree, and it seems like the world agrees is just some doo-doo, basically. I mean,
it sucks.
Yeah, we can't love everything. We've got, we've got to see what else is out
So
there.
now you know that this was based on a book too, right?
That I did
So it
not
was
know. I
based
mean,
on a
every
book
movie's
called The
based on a book,
Nanny
right? Every movie.
By
It's
Dan
an original title.
Greenberg, and it was published in '87. So
is there some saving grace? Could I read the book maybe and at least have something
I don't
to
know.
get from
I'm
this?
really curious if the book would be better
I know,
or
right?
if it would just be like a god awful hot ass mess.
I get the feeling the book's probably halfway decent. I bet.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not willing to
I'm.
give it that
I
much
was
of
gonna
my
say
time though.
I'm probably not going to ever read it, but I mean now I'm intrigued. Of course, though. Now I'm kind of curious.
You read it and
But
tell
I
me
probably
what you
will.
think.
All
I will
right, I
not
can do
read
that.
it.
I might find the time. You know what? Of everything that I want to read, that is like at the very bottom of my list. At this
Yeah,
point.
I have way too many things in my list to do
The
that.
chances of reading that are probably slim. But I mean, every movie's based on a book, so I'm not surprised by that.
I mean, not every movie.
The majority of
A
them.
lot are.
A lot. All right. A lot of them are. Think about movies you really like, great movies you really like. We talked about just a second ago, Jaws, based on a book.
Oh, God, wait. I just saw another trivia that's really funny.
Okay.
Okay, so when it was released, a bunch of critics were pointing out that this might be the first horror film ever in which a chainsaw is actually used against a tree.
Wow. Okay.
Because they're used against everything else.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, and then I love the branches from the tree that try to grab onto people and wrap them up, and it's just not scary.
It's
really
just not a scary movie, guys. It's just not. I'm not sure what else to say except that it's just
not
scary.
You know what? Here's a movie that could use a remake. How about remaking it and making it scary?
Oh,
I challenge someone out there listening to this to remake The Guardians. Do it.
Do a whole page one rewrite.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
Rewrite
So what would you do? You obviously you want to make it scarier. I would make her much more seductive.
Oh,
I would make the men actually like kind of fall for her, whether they actually like. Whether they actually are like the husband wants to have sex with her or not. But like, I would have them like fall under her thrall and be like really think she's wonderful until the
she needs
end.
To be like. She needs to be like the TX Terminator from Terminator 3.
Okay.
She needs to be like her. Yeah. Did you ever see Terminator 3?
Oh, so long ago.
She needs to be scary and like robotic and like just like a killing machine almost.
I think she needs to be the opposite. I think she needs to be super alluring.
Who would play her?
Ooh, who would play her? Ooh, that's hard.
I really have no idea.
That's really hard. I don't know who would play her.
I don't either. It might have to be someone you never heard of, quite frankly.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like it would need to be a newcomer, like a gorgeous newcomer that everybody would just like fall in love with immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could read. I don't know exactly how to redo it, but that's one of them. You know what? Give it a try. Give it another shot. See if it will work. I don't know.
I think like she would have to do scarier things to the babies. Like it would have to be a little more hardcore than just like she holds it up and the tree and then it's in the tree.
Right.
I feel like that would have to be a little scarier. Because that's what happens, guys. Like in the beginning, the baby she takes, like she just like she's like does a little like I don't know sing-songy ritual thing, and then she like holds it up and it like disappears from her hand, and then it's like in the tree.
There's some blue lights I think going on and some other stuff, and then that's about it's kind of the end of it. So
I think maybe you would need to make the criminals who are after her, who chase her around in the forest, you'd have to make them seem a lot more dangerous. Mm-hmm. They would need to seem like really, so that when she did something magical to stop them, you would be like, oh, she is magical, but she's protecting herself.
A magical nymph.
Right. She is a magical nymph, but she's not an evil magical nymph. She's just, and that's the other thing. Okay. So
right. Nasty. Now we're getting somewhere.
Okay, so they open with the other couple that she steals the baby, and granted, like they don't really show her face, so you don't know it's her. But still, because of that scene, it's so flipping obvious when they hire her as the nanny that she's the baby stealer.
Right.
Like,
Of course.
there's
The
no
baby stealer.
question. If they didn't start with that scene and they started with them having the baby and needing a nanny and all that stuff, and you thought she was really sweet, and then, you know, like the thing where they picked the one girl, but then she got in a horrible accident and died, so they got her instead.
Quote unquote, like, horrible accident.
Yeah, like that wasn't bad. Like, I could see, because at first we thought, oh, of course they're gonna pick the girl with the thing, and then they didn't, and we were like, oh, they didn't. Oh, but she killed her. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Right.
Like,
right.
So I think if you started with the search for the nanny and got rid of that standard horror, it happened to somebody else once opening, it would be much scarier because you wouldn't know. Okay. You wouldn't know if she was bad or not.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We already have an idea here. We're ready to do this.
I'm not going to do it, though. But this is what I think somebody should do.
Okay. All right. But someone else should do it, yes. Okay.
Someone should rewrite this script.
Like I said, if you're listening out there, we've given you the challenge. Rewrite,
take our advice,
and remake. Invite me to the set. I'll come hang out.
Definitely.
You know,
give us a little byline. Special thanks to the Scary Movie Project for the idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remake you could make this to be a scary movie. Who knows?
Think you could.
So,
I think you could if you knew how to really write the script well and you knew how to make a movie. You would need those two things.
That's the problem. The guy that made it has made some really good movies.
Friedkin should be able to make a movie. He should know how to do it.
I know. It just, everything went wrong. Everything went wrong.
And I think maybe he was out of practice.
It's very possible.
You know, but yeah.
It just didn't work out. But
it did not
sometimes
work.
You have stuff like this, and it makes for great fodder. And it's funny for us to talk about, explaining how bad it is. And yeah, you know, it is what it is, man. We move on.
It's so bad. Oh, did you also catch that they referenced...
Bad choice.
They referenced Roseanne Barr, Family Ties, and the Golden Girls.
I think I remember the Roseanne... I don't remember the other two, though. When did that happen?
I can't remember exactly how it was, but they referenced all three. I think it was all in one, where they were like, oh, it's like Roseanne Barr, whatever, the Golden Girls.
Okay.
Family Ties, the Golden Girls.
I mean, all three of those shows were like huge.
It's so dated. It's so dated.
Hey, I will say this. Roseanne is one of my favorite television programs of all time.
Roseanne was a good show.
Love it.
I personally loved Family Ties growing up and Golden Girls.
Family Ties
I loved
is a good
both.
show.
So they're good shows that they reference. They're just really dated.
I didn't see a lot of Golden Girls. I remember they had a really cool house that I wanted to live in on that show, but that's all I remember.
I just really remember the kitchen.
Everything happened everything happens in the kitchen every TV show, right?
I mostly remember the kitchen.
Roseanne, everything was always the kitchen is always
sometimes they were in the living room where the stairs went up.
Yes. But mostly it was kitchen. Yeah. That's where all the shows happen. Yeah, Family Ties, that was a good one.
Sitcoms take place in kitchens, guys. That's same with that 70s show. They were either in their basement hangout.
Alex P. Keaton. Oh, that 70s show.
They were either in their basement hangout or if they were with the parents, they were almost always in the kitchen.
And that was a show that always had Point Place, Wisconsin, like 8:22 p.m. It always said what time it was. And they were always stoned. They were so good about showing the circle going around, and you obviously knew they were stoned out of it, but they never actually showed you doing it. That was a great show.
Guys, this shows how much we hate this movie because we're not even talking about it anymore.
Television programs. Okay, wow. Anyway, our point and I said Michael Keaton. I mean, Alex P. Keaton. Let me try that again with Family Ties. Holy cow. Michael Keaton is another actor. That was not what I meant.
I didn't even catch that when you said that. Alex P. Keaton, yep.
Alex P. Keaton, he loved Ronald Reagan, didn't he? He loved Ronald Reagan.
He was a little young Republican.
But his parents were like these super hippies when they were we've gone way off. This is terrible.
Yes.
But that was the reference in the movie, so we're talking about
Apparently the show Family Ties was supposed to be more of a driving vehicle for the parents, but Alex and then the other kids too, but especially Alex P. Keaton were so awesome that it became more
They
about
were.
them because he was just the
It's a good
breakout
show.
star.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
And it was referenced in a bad movie.
And it was
so
and a bad movie used that show to hurt us.
yeah. Well, I'll say this much. Usually I like to say my suggestions and stuff are usually pretty good. Unfortunately this time my suggestion did not work out.
It didn't.
So.
I'm going to say it. This is hard for me to say, but I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
This is orders of magnitude worse than Children of the Corn.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my
like,
God.
Children of the Corn.
I like Children
of the Corn
right.
annoys me because it's a movie that's not as scary as it could be and should be. And it's kind of dumb, but it's a movie. This, I don't even know if you can call this a movie.
I like Children of the Corn. I know we differ on that. This one I do
this
not
is, like. This is it's not even a monstrosity because monstrosity is interesting.
But
it's a bland little collection of moving pictures and audio.
I feel like every once in a while we're due for, because let me tell you, I've watched some pretty terrible stuff. And I'd be more than happy to suggest some more crappy stuff. I think we need it. I think we need to talk about bad.
We should do like
stuff.
A couple times a year, just like purposely do a bad movie.
Bones. The horrible Dr. Bones.
Do we have to do that one now?
Go and look that up. That might be the worst movie I've ever seen.
All right, give me some time to get over this one.
To get over this. You got to move past this first, don't you?
Yeah, I got to get past this one first. I need to talk to my therapist about it.
Let's get an outlet, get rid of some of the stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
The horrible Dr. Bones.
Wash it out with some good stuff. And on that note,
look it up.
We're not going to wash it off with some good stuff for a while because we're going on break.
Yeah. We're going on break, baby.
We're going on break for me to make my short film, guys.
Ooh, we're excited about it.
So I'm very excited. But that means that for the next 2 months, we will not be recording. We will be back in October for our spooky month.
The greatest month of the year.
Best month of the year. And we will be back for it for you all. We will be back for the Halloween month. But until then, please.
We hate to see you.
We just did. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We just did this horrible movie. We did it for you. So please subscribe to the podcast, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, wherever the heck you're listening, Spotify, so that more people can find us. And don't forget, send us your movie suggestions, movies, hopefully not too much like this one. And your thoughts on the movies we've watched so far at thescarymovieproject@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Scary Movie Project. Peace out.
Break time, people. We hate to see you go, but we love to watch you leave, as they say, right? So, until next time.
The Scary Movie Project podcast is produced by Tara Garwood and Matt Lulich. Learn more at thescarymovieproject.com.